Welcome to an alternate past. Today's video is, what if the Chernobyl disaster had been prevented? Imagine if the Chernobyl disaster had never happened, an event that spewed 400 times more radioactive material into the atmosphere than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The catastrophic explosion on April 26, 1986, rendered entire towns eerily deserted, with contaminated areas remaining uninhabitable to this day, leaving the question, what dark, haunting fate was averted? Firstly, consider the immediate impact on human lives. The explosion and subsequent fire forced the sudden evacuation of over 49,000 inhabitants from Pripyat and surrounding areas almost overnight. If the disaster were prevented, families would not be torn apart by the chaos, and the deadly radiation exposure would have spared the lives of the 31 immediate fatalities and potentially thousands more who suffered from subsequent health complications. The heart-wrenching image of schools, homes, and playgrounds left to ruin would never have imprinted itself onto the collective human memory. Economically, the prevention of the nuclear meltdown would have prevented the Soviet Union from an expenditure of around 18 billion rubles, a monumental sum allocated for the containment, cleanup, and decontamination process. These funds, instead of mitigating a catastrophe, could have strengthened an already volatile political landscape, possibly altering the economic trajectory of the USSR. A nation grappling with the cost of rebuilding shattered lives and environments could have redirected resources to social and technological advancements. Environmental repercussions of a world without Chernobyl are equally staggering. Chernobyl's exclusion zone spans roughly 1,000 square miles of poisoned earth. Preventing the disaster would have protected the rich biodiversity of the region, ensuring countless animal species, including the endangered Przewalski's horse, would not be exposed to harmful radiation. Flourishing ecosystems would maintain their natural balance, avoiding the haunting silence of forests stripped of life. Energy policies and nuclear power advancements might have taken a completely different turn had Chernobyl not cast its long, dark shadow. Without the blight of the disaster, global confidence in nuclear energy could have remained unshaken, possibly leading to advancements in safer nuclear technologies. Nations wary of the cataclysmic potential of nuclear power might have pursued its benefits more vigorously, potentially reducing global reliance on fossil fuels and their attendant impact on climate change. The geopolitical implications of this alternate history world are also immense. The disaster exposed systemic flaws within the Soviet government, accelerating its collapse and consequently the end of the Cold War. Without Chernobyl, the timeline of worldwide political transformation might have shifted, influencing governments, policies, and global alliances. The balance of power during one of the most volatile periods in modern history would have been distinctly altered. On a societal level, the haunting legacy of Chernobyl has permeated global consciousness, inspiring chilling reminders in popular culture, from HBO's gripping miniseries to horror video games. The psychological and cultural impact, rooted deeply in collective fears of invisible, insidious threats from radiation, could have been replaced with different narratives. Children growing up in post-disaster zones might not have faced isolation and stigmatization, and the global community's perception of radiation disasters as apocalyptic forces could have shifted significantly. From a health perspective, the absence of Chernobyl's nuclear explosion would likely have spared around 4,000 eventual cancer-related deaths, as estimated by the United Nations. The terror of radiation-induced illnesses and the harrowing necessity of lifelong health monitoring would be less pervasive, sparing thousands from uncertainty and pain that transcends generations. Education and technological safety protocols worldwide underwent a seismic shift post-Chernobyl. Without the incident, the lessons derived from such a grievous error might have taken far longer to embed in nuclear practice. While today's improved nuclear safety standards would still exist, their evolution might have been delayed, possibly exposing the industry to unchecked risks elsewhere across the globe. Chernobyl was a wake-up call, a glaring spotlight on human error, systemic failure, and nature's unforgiving response to technological miscalculations. If we could envision a world where this dark chapter never transpired, we might see a reality unmarred by radioactive desolation. Yet in the present, it serves as a ghostly warning, a tragic testament to the vital importance of safety and vigilance in harnessing the immense power of nuclear energy. Ultimately, the prevention of the Chernobyl disaster would have reshaped human lives, economies, environments, politics, technological advancements, culture, and health paradigms. While the scars of that fateful explosion remain to remind us of the past's blunders and horrors, a world without Chernobyl beckons as an almost incomparable dreamscape, a stark contrast to the grim reality left behind.